If crypto disappeared tomorrow, the average person's life would get better almost instantly. Your groceries would still be on the shelves, your rent would still be due, your paycheck would still hit your account, and society wouldn't collapse into bartering chaos. The only real difference is that your group chat would suddenly get quieter, because that one guy who keeps posting where early would have to find a new personality. And that's the dirty secret no one wants to say out loud. Crypto doesn't fix money. Crypto doesn't fix banks. Crypto doesn't fix corruption. Crypto doesn't fix inflation. What crypto does incredibly well is build a new casino where insiders win and regular people become exit liquidity. I know that sounds harsh, because the marketing is designed to make you feel like you're joining a revolution. It's always framed as freedom, decentralization, and a digital middle finger to the traditional financial system. It's sold like a modern rebellion, like you're part of some underground financial resistance. But if crypto were a Tinder date, it's the guy who calls himself an entrepreneur while selling solar panels door to door and posting motivational quotes about generational wealth from his mom's couch. So yes, I'm biased. I hate crypto, not because I don't understand it, but because I do. And if you like deep dives into financial manipulation, hidden history, and the kinds of economic theories that make you stare at your banking app like it personally betrayed you, go ahead and hit like and subscribe now. This channel is basically therapy for anyone who's ever suspected the system is rigged, except the copay is just your attention span and a willingness to laugh at the pain. To understand what crypto became, we have to talk about what it promised to be. The origins of cryptocurrencies didn't begin with Bitcoin in 2009. The roots stretch back decades, long before laser eyes and meme coins turned the whole thing into an internet circus. In 1983, cryptographer David Schoen proposed the idea of eCash, a system meant to allow anonymous electronic payments. It wasn't built for number-go-up speculation. It was built to solve a real problem. How do you move money digitally without handing your entire financial life to intermediaries for years after that? Digital cash ideas lived in the shadows. Among cryptography circles and privacy-focused communities, these weren't mainstream investors. These were people who cared about civil liberties, surveillance, censorship, and the power of institutions. Then the world handed them the perfect moment to recruit everyone else. The 2008 financial crisis. Banks imploded, bailouts happened, ordinary people lost homes and savings, and the same institutions that caused the mess somehow got rewarded for it. That kind of betrayal doesn't just create anger. It creates a hunger for an alternative. In 2009, Bitcoin arrived like a myth with a white paper. Satoshi Nakamoto mined the first Bitcoin, and a new narrative was born. Decentralized money, free from government control, free from bank gatekeepers, and immune to corruption. It sounded like a digital utopia, like a new financial system built by math instead of politicians. It was pitched as a currency for the people, a solution to the exact kind of institutional failure people had just witnessed. But here's what always happens when an idea becomes profitable. It gets captured. It gets commercialized. It gets packaged and sold to the masses with slogans that feel rebellious, even when the outcome is painfully corporate. Crypto started as an anti-bank dream, and then it quickly turned into a hyper-financialized industry built on speculation, leverage, and hype. Let's talk about Bitcoin as money, because this is where the first major promise collapses. Bitcoin has existed for more than a decade and a half, and it still has no widespread real-world utility as a daily payment system. Yes, you can technically buy some things with Bitcoin, especially niche items, luxury products, or services in certain corners of the internet. But for everyday life, most people cannot pay rent, buy groceries, or grab a coffee using Bitcoin in a way that is seamless, normal, and stable. Even when businesses accept Bitcoin, many of them rely on payment processors that convert the Bitcoin into fiat currency immediately. That's not real adoption. That's businesses tolerating Bitcoin for a moment, but still insisting on the safety of dollars. If Bitcoin were truly functioning as money, merchants would want to hold it, price goods in it, and use it as a stable medium of exchange. Instead, Bitcoin is primarily treated like an asset you hold because you hope it will become more valuable later. And here's the punchline. Money is meant to flow. Money is meant to be spent. Bitcoin is treated like something you hoard, and the community basically shames you for spending it. That alone tells you what it really is, not a currency, but a speculative instrument more similar to gold than cash. Except gold has been valued for thousands of years and has physical uses across industries, while Bitcoin is essentially a digital asset whose value is mostly anchored to belief and market demand. The reason Bitcoin fails as everyday money is also not mysterious. It's volatile. Transaction costs can spike, and fraud is a constant problem in the broader ecosystem. Bitcoin can technically work as a currency in the same way you can technically mow your lawn. With nail clippers, it's possible, but it's absurd, inefficient, and not what people actually do. Pause and comment moment number 1. If Bitcoin is really the future of money, why do so many believers refuse to spend it and treat selling like a moral failure? Pause and comment right now. Is Bitcoin money, or is it a religion with a price chart? Now the next move crypto makes is the pivot that reveals everything. If Bitcoin is not really functioning as currency, then the story becomes, okay, fine, it's not money yet, but it's an incredible investment. And that's where the second promise starts cracking. Bitcoin's volatility is enormous compared to traditional assets, which means the risk-adjusted returns are a lot uglier than the memes make them look. This is why serious money managers typically recommend small allocations, if any, because crypto behaves more like a high-stakes gamble than a stable store of value. People love quoting the early price run from pennies to tens of thousands as proof that crypto is a guaranteed path to wealth. But that early phase was unique and cannot be repeated in the same way. For the same reasons, and for every Bitcoin success story, there are thousands of worthless coins that launched, pumped, dumped, and died. If you think you're the genius who will pick the next winner, you're not investing. You are at a roulette table with better branding and more Discord servers. And in the next bundle, I am going to hit you with one statistic that proves most crypto projects weren't built to succeed long-term at all, because that statistic reveals what the industry really is, a machine designed to produce hype, failure, and constant churn, and it's going to change the way you see every new coin launch forever. Here's the statistic, and it's one of the most devastating numbers in the entire crypto story. A crypto data platform tracked millions of coin listings over recent years, and an enormous portion of those coins stopped trading and are now considered dead, not down. Bad or not recovering, dead, gone, flatlined. That means more than half of the tracked crypto projects didn't just lose value, they went to zero. And that is not normal behavior for a legitimate asset ecosystem. When companies fail in traditional markets, there are structures, legal processes, filings, assets, and often at least some path to accountability. When a crypto project fails, you often get a final message that says we're pivoting, the founders disappear, and you're left with nothing but a token logo and a wallet transaction history. That feels like a crime scene. This is why meme coins aren't an accident. Meme coins are the purest expression of what crypto became. They don't even pretend to have deep utility. They're openly built around attention. They're a social game disguised as a financial product. And the problem isn't just that meme coins exist. The problem is that meme coins thrive because they fit the incentives of the ecosystem. The ecosystem rewards hype, not fundamentals. It rewards momentum, not long-term value. It rewards timing, not utility. Crypto also has a terrifying habit of rebranding obvious manipulation into cute slang. Like it's a harmless internet culture thing instead of a financial minefield. Pump and dumps become community waves. Rug pulls become bad actors. Wash trading becomes liquidity. And the people getting wrecked are always the same, retail investors, who thought they were getting in on the ground floor of the next big thing. So how did crypto respond to its obvious instability? It tried to invent stability. That's where stablecoins enter the story. Stablecoins are pitched as cryptocurrencies that stay tied to a stable asset, often the US dollar. The marketing makes them sound like the calm, responsible adult in the room, like the safe savings account version of crypto. But stablecoins also reveal a huge contradiction. Crypto was supposed to replace fiat, yet the most useful stablecoins are literally pegged to fiat. Now some stablecoins claim to be backed by real reserves, while others take a more experimental approach. And the most dangerous experiments are algorithmic stablecoins, because they try to maintain stability through mechanisms and incentives instead of actual collateral. In plain terms, they try to do financial magic without a real safety net. That brings us to Terra and Luna, one of the most infamous collapses in modern crypto. Terra was marketed as a stable coin pegged to the dollar, while Luna was designed to help keep it stable through minting and burning mechanisms. In theory, it was elegant. In practice, it was a Jenga tower built on confidence. When confidence cracked, the whole structure went into a death spiral. In May 2022, during heavy sell-offs, Terra lost its peg and panic spread. The system printed more Luna in an attempt to stabilize Terra, but that only accelerated collapse by flooding the market. The result was an implosion that wiped out tens of billions of dollars of value in roughly a week. It wasn't a normal market dip. It was structural failure. It showed what happens when stability is built on belief instead of real backing. And the most revealing part is what happened afterward. A normal industry would pause, reflect, and rebuild trust. Crypto shrugged, moved on, and started pitching the next narrative. Because crypto isn't powered by long-term credibility. It's powered by attention and momentum. The incentive is not to build something stable. The incentive is to keep the wheel spinning. Then came the event that should have buried crypto for good. An exchange that was treated like the gold standard. A company with celebrity endorsements, big-name investors, and a public image of legitimacy. And when it collapsed, it exposed how deep the rot really went. In the next bundle, I'm going to break down FTX, how it convinced the world it was safe, and why its downfall is one of the clearest examples that the modern crypto industry isn't just risky. It's structurally designed to reward the people closest to the money and punish everyone else. FTX wasn't just another crypto exchange. It was the exchange. The one that was supposed to signal that crypto had matured into something professional and trustworthy. It had huge advertising campaigns, celebrity endorsements, and institutional investors throwing money at it as if it were inevitable infrastructure for the future of finance. It had the entire aesthetic of legitimacy, the kind that makes ordinary people relax because they assume someone smarter already checked the math, and the face of that legitimacy was Sam Bankman-Fried. He was presented as the quirky genius billionaire, the responsible adult in the crypto room, the good guy who would prove that the industry could be safe. Media outlets framed him as the next Warren Buffett. Venture capital firms praised him publicly. Crypto treated him like its white knight. But then the truth came out, and it was not a small mistake. It was a disaster. It turned out that customer deposits were allegedly being misused and routed into Alameda Research, a sister trading firm. In normal terms, this is like a bank taking your savings and gambling it on risky bets without telling you. And when the bets go wrong, your money isn't there because it was never protected the way you assumed it was. When FTX collapsed, the bankruptcy process revealed the level of chaos that shocked even seasoned corporate cleanup experts. The person overseeing the bankruptcy had previously handled Enron, and he publicly stated that he had never seen such a complete failure of corporate controls. That is not a casual statement. That is a professional saying, "This was worse than I thought possible." FTX wasn't just fraud. It was the ultimate demonstration of what happens when you combine massive financial incentives with an industry that thrives on weak oversight, complex narratives, and trust-based hype. And what makes FTX even more disturbing is that it fooled not only retail investors, but also institutional investors and major firms that are supposed to have serious due diligence. Pause and comment moment number 2. If massive funds and billion-dollar investors couldn't he spot what was happening at FTX until it was too late? What makes you think he raised safe buying the next coin an influencer calls a hidden gem? Pause and comment, is crypto investing, or is it volunteer victimhood? After FTX, a normal industry would have faced an extinction-level collapse of public trust. If a major stock exchange were caught doing something similar, the outrage would be nuclear and the regulatory response would be immediate. But crypto survived, and the survival itself tells you something important. Crypto is not powered by trust. It's powered by emotion, particularly fear of missing out and the desire for a financial escape route. This is where crypto becomes less about technology and more about psychology. People return because the pain of missing out feels worse than the pain of being wrong. People return because they don't want to be the person who laughed at Bitcoin early and missed a life-changing run. People return because crypto doesn't just sell assets, it sells identity, community, and a sense of being ahead of the crowd. That's also why crypto scandals don't kill the industry. They reset the narrative. They clear out weak hands. They create new stories about being early. Again, they create fresh hype cycles. And with each cycle, the same pattern repeats. Boom, influencers. Retail enters, insiders exit, collapse, and then the rebirth with new language. Now, I'm not going to pretend blockchain has no legitimate use cases. Verification systems, digital signatures, certain forms of settlement, and cryptographic tools can be valuable. The problem is that the public crypto ecosystem, the coins, the trading, the leverage, the hype behaves like a casino because its incentives are casino incentives. It rewards volume and volatility, not stability and utility. So the big question becomes unavoidable. If crypto isn't really functioning as daily money, and it's not reliably safe, and the ecosystem is littered with dead projects and high-profile collapses, then what is crypto actually doing? In the next bundle, we're going to dig into a theory many people argue online, that crypto evolved into a generational wealth extraction layer, a trap disguised as liberation. And once you see how the incentives align, you'll understand why the anti-bank revolution somehow ended up making insiders richer, while retail keeps getting obliterated. Here's the theory, and I want to frame it carefully because this is where the conversation gets spicy. Some people believe crypto didn't fail to replace the financial system. They believe it was never going to replace it. They believe crypto was always destined to become a speculative layer attached to the existing system, a kind of pressure valve for desperation that redirects anger into a market where insiders can profit. Crypto targets a specific emotional reality. Millions of people feel locked out of the old path to financial stability. Housing became unaffordable. Wages didn't keep up. That is everywhere. Retirement feels like a fantasy. And when people feel trapped, they look for an escape door. Crypto marketed itself as that door. The promise was seductive. You don't need permission. You don't need a gatekeeper. You don't need a banker. You just need to be early. You just need to be brave. You just need to hold through the fear. That's not just investing advice. That's a storyline. And storylines are powerful. They turn markets into fandom. This is why crypto communities feel like tribes. The language is emotional and moral. People talk about paper hands and diamond hands as if selling is a character flaw. People treat doubt like betrayal. People treat criticism like an attack from enemies. Once investing becomes identity, people stop thinking clearly because admitting you were wrong feels like admitting you were wrong. Now let's talk decentralization, because this is the part that gets sold as the magic ingredient. In practice, crypto markets are often highly concentrated. Large holders, founders, early insiders, and venture funds can control significant portions of supply in many assets. Those holders can move markets in ways that retail investors cannot. They can trigger liquidations, create price cascades, and exit while the crowd is still chanting slogans. Leverage amplifies everything. Borrowing to buy volatile assets creates a system where liquidation events become routine. A drop triggers forced selling triggers a deeper drop, and retail gets wiped out while larger players can scoop up at lower levels. The market becomes a machine that punishes late. Leveraged optimism. Pause and comment moment number 3. If crypto is supposed to be freedom, why does it require so much trust in anonymous founders, offshore exchanges, and influencer narratives that change every cycle? Pause and comment. Is crypto actually safer than banks, or is it just louder when it breaks? This is why legitimate technology can exist inside an incentive system that still functions like extraction. The internet is real, and scams thrive on it. Social media is real, and manipulation thrives on it. Crypto tools may have real value, but the public-facing crypto industry is built around volatility and attention, because volatility and attention are profitable. And now we arrive at the strangest twist. The institutions crypto claimed it would destroy didn't get destroyed. Over time, many of them started participating. Wall Street went from mocking crypto to packaging it. Banks went from rejecting it to offering products around it. Funds went from avoiding it to building exposure. That's not a revolution. That's absorption. In the next bundle, we're going to talk about why institutional adoption is not the validation people think it is, how the old system learned to profit from the new casino, and why the anti-bank movement somehow turned into a new product line for the same financial machine. Wall Street didn't join crypto to validate it. Wall Street joined crypto to monetize it. Profit is gravity, and if something generates enough fees, enough trading volume, and enough retail attention, institutions will package it into a product. That's what institutions do. They don't marry your ideology. They rent it, monetize it, and move on. This is why the narrative changed. Crypto went from banks are the enemy to banks are offering crypto custody. It went from the system is collapsing to here's a regulated product. It went from underground rebellion to a tradable financial asset class that institutions could profit from through fees, market making, and exposure products. And this is where people get confused. They hear institutions are buying and assume that means crypto is safe or destined. But institutions buy things because they believe they can profit from them, not because they believe in the moral story behind them. Institutions would sell you a financial derivative on haunted toaster futures if it was legal and profitable. Meanwhile, the boom and bust cycle keeps repeating. Each cycle gets dressed up with a new theme, but the underlying structure barely changes. NFTs, metaverse tokens, DeFi yield, meme coin seasons, AI coins, gaming coins, and whatever the next shiny narrative becomes all follow a similar arc. Hype rises, retail enters, insiders exit, and the aftermath gets framed as a learning experience or a cleansing event. Crypto defenders often respond by saying fiat is flawed too, and that's true. Inflation exists. Bailouts exist. Governments abuse monetary policy. The system has corruption and inequality baked in. But fiat systems are anchored to laws, tax obligations, courts, and a functioning economy that uses the currency daily. Crypto doesn't replace those anchors. In many ways, it relies on them, especially through stablecoins and fiat on-ramps. The most revealing contradiction is that the crypto ecosystem as most practically useful tokens are often pegged to the US dollar. Crypto didn't kill the dollar. It built dollar mirrors and used them as fuel. The culture, meanwhile, remains centered on getting rich fast. Utility rarely goes viral. Hype goes viral. Fear goes viral. Outrage goes viral. Your early goes viral. And that's why people keep coming back even after catastrophic losses. So you get a cycle where people get burned, hoping the next run will redeem the last loss. And that cycle is not an accident. It is the economic heartbeat of a hype-driven casino. In the last bundle, I'm going to give you the cleanest conclusion possible. Because crypto doesn't have to be entirely fake to function as a generational wealth transfer mechanism, and once you see the incentives clearly, crypto doesn't need to be one giant lie to be one giant trap. Some of the most effective schemes in history weren't built on pure fabrication. They were built on partial truths wrapped in incentives that reward insiders and punish the crowd. The truth is that crypto technology can be real while the public-facing crypto industry is structurally incentive corrupted. It's a space where launching tokens is easy, marketing is loud, accountability is thin, and the culture is built around speculation rather than utility. That combination creates a machine that thrives on attention and volatility. And attention and volatility are exactly what destroy ordinary investors. That is why I hate crypto. Not because it's new, not because it's confusing, and not because it threatens the status quo. I hate it because it markets itself as salvation while behaving like a trap. It promises escape from the system while repeating the system as worst behavior, extracting wealth upward and blaming victims for not being smart enough or early enough. If you lose money, the culture doesn't treat it like a predictable outcome of a rigged environment. It treats it like a personal failure. You paper-handed. You didn't research. You didn't believe. That shame is part of the machinery, because shame keeps people from speaking honestly, and it keeps them chasing redemption instead of walking away. And yes, not every person in crypto is malicious. Not every project is worthless. There are legitimate uses for cryptographic systems and certain blockchain tools, but the modern crypto ecosystem, as it exists in public markets today, behaves like a mass wealth transfer engine more often than it behaves like a liberating financial system. So here's the controversial question I want you to answer in the comments. And I mean it sincerely. If crypto was built to free ordinary people, why has it so consistently produced richer insiders, bigger scams, and more manipulation than the banking system it claims to replace? Do you think crypto is genuinely the future of finance? Or do you think it has the most successful freedom marketing campaign ever created to harvest an entire generation as hope? Drop your answer below and tell me which side you're on, because the comments section is going to be a war zone in the best way possible.